Firstly, I need to highlight that the event is well planned and is in accordance with our vision, but we had a lot of challenges to bring it together. Firstly is with regards to the venue. There was a collision of planning, since you can observe that outside there is an event running on its own. We tried to share last night when we had a challenge for the setup, but the rest is history. We are here. Our event is a success. The second challenge that we had, I had a death in the family. So this morning, I had to be excused by the elders when my brother-in-law is to be laid to rest within few hours from now. But nevertheless, I have to come and stand here so that our vision can be carried forward. So getting back to the event of the day, we have borrowed this summit to title it Thabatha Igeja Ulime Economic Summit. The phrase or the words which says Thabatha Igeja Ulime is borrowed from the church's hymn book, from Umthandazo Wokuvuka. So thina njengabantwana bamaNazaretha, we regard this phrase as one of the economic policies which the founder of the church entrenched in the principles and fundamental policies of the church. So when we tackled it, Thabatha Igeja Ulime, it is a call to all of us that today, the 16th of June 2026, we are making a very first attempt to get to the implementation stage of that policy. You don't have to take the phrase Thabatha Igeja Ulime literally. We are very much diversified in terms of our learning discipline, our trade, our vision, even our dreams. One can even take it further to our attitude as we seated here. We've got different attitudes. But when Afrika was conceived, amongst others by Dr. Shange, Baba Unhlanhla Ungit, you mention a lot that has been involved, being the brain behind it. Afrika is a trading name which we resorted to use instead of using Khangela Mankengane. The original vehicle that we intend to use in implementing this economic policy is Khangela Mankengane. But out of respect and understanding of how important Khangela Mankengane is within the context of the Zulu Kingdom, we decided to borrow Afrika, because we couldn't use Khangela Mankengane before we get a blessing from the king. I think you understand the background that I'm giving here. So in the near future, once we have consulted with the Zulu royalty and also have consulted and unearthed our vision to His Holiness Inkosi yamaNazaretha uNyazi lweZulu, you will get to know exactly what Khangela Mankengane is and what it's gonna do. When we say this summit entails of taking your hoe and commence plowing. You can translate it either way you wish to, but ultimately, sithi asithabathe Igeja silime sizophila ngakho njengoba uShembe asho. So in doing so, we didn't want to come to you and present a promise. We didn't want to come before you and tell you about a dream. But it was our intention that we will craft something which will be tangible and come and present it to you today for implementation. The people who are members of Afrika or Kangela Mankengane are the people from the church and outside of the church. We see no differentiation, neither do we have eyes to see who is the member of the church or who is not the member of the church. Of importance, we want to realize intellectuals, people who are not lazy to think, who can drive this vision forward. So in this gathering today, if we are saying sithabatha Igeja ukuze silime siphile ngakho, we've got projects which has already been established within the church. We are delivering these projects to you, that you get together, explore them, put your innovation on everything that has already been accomplished in and around these projects. When we joined our forces, we want to see these projects a success. I think amongst all of us who are present here, we've got constituencies which we represent. We've got business people who are from certain associations, who's got a network that they can influence or persuade for the goal that we want to achieve. So when we get here today, amongst the projects that we are bringing to you, and you will be listening to the presentations that will be made by those that are actually taking a lead in those projects. We've got a project brought by Panthera. The project brought by Panthera is more about the conservation of a leopard. But there is more out of it, because it's not only about the conservation of a leopard. There is a lot involved. There is a resuscitation of our culture. There is a resuscitation of our pride with our religion, so that we can practice our religion without fear of being not compliant with the laws of the country, especially when you use a genuine leopard skin. In terms of the law, for anyone to possess an original leopard skin and utilize it, that person must be in possession of a permit issued by the government from a relevant department. I think none of us possesses those permits, but we do use the leopard skins. As you can see the displays here, this takes us, I think, 7 years back, when we sat together with Panthera, joining hands, exchanging views to come with a fake fair, which we call Amambata. Any one of you who had an opportunity to visit the church during the dance, you will realize how many persons are using this type of fairs. That is a great achievement in serving a leopard, so that generations to come will be able to enjoy these sports. If you take it further, the additional element is that of our tradition and customs. It is a fact that not anybody without being a descendant of the royalty were to wear a genuine leopard skin. The leopard skin was an identity of showing a person which hierarchy in our community does that person belongs. But that has faded away because of the lack of differentiation and lack of respect. So by this project, it's not only about conserving a leopard, but it's also the resuscitation of what in fact is supposed to be our practice, so that we can respect Amakos. Moving forward, we've got a second project which is brought by MTN. Presentation will come, but MTN is an official partner of the church. What MTN has agreed to, and it has been signed, is an agreement between the two institutions, is that MTN has agreed to join forces with the church so that the church can be able to benefit from the economic streams that MTN runs within the context of telecommunication. That is a great achievement for the church. So when we seated here today, we need to deliberate and agree, how can we take these projects forward? There is another project which involves Ebuhleni banking. Ebuhleni banking was briefly introduced during our past pilgrimage in January at the Holy Mountain of Canaan. And it was introduced by our leader himself in front of the ordained of our church. So when the leader introduced the banking element within the church, the idea was to influence us that in fact we can do things on our own. We don't have to be reliant to government. We don't have to be dependent from the big commercial banks, but we can put our shoulder and assist facilitating and enhance a vision whereby we Africans on our own can establish and treasure something that will be in control and be in charge of. So that is what we want to achieve.